What's up, guys? You're watching Poot's Garage. Last week we talked about what we're gonna do to this truck behind me. This week, let's start doing it. And before we get too deep into this video, we got two things to handle. Number one is, let's head to the map. All right, guys, you know the drill. Behind me, we got two maps. Let me know where you're watching from, and I'll put a red pin on your spot. I wanna get these maps filled, completely covered in red pins. First this week we got Salome, Arizona. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Next is Riverton, Wyoming. Sounds like a nice place. Next is Dothan, Alabama. Looking good. Next is out at a hunting camp in Morton, Washington. This one was a bit of a surprise. It's the second one from Navarre, Florida. Navarre. And the last one was a bit of surprise. Jurbarkas, Lithuania. That is way out there. That was wasn't expecting that at all. And the second thing we gotta handle is stickers. If you want a sticker for Poot's Garage, I got a full fist of them here. Like this video, comment on this video, and either leave me your address in the comments, which is not that great of an idea, or send me your address at pootsgarage@gmail.com. Pretty simple, easy to do. I'm just trying to get my name out there, send everybody stickers. It's on my dime. I'll ship it out to you. So let's get into tearing this truck apart. For the first time, we got this truck on jack stands. I don't think I've ever really had this truck jacked up. I think I pulled a rear wheel off once to try and see if I could fix the rear brakes, but once I saw that you got to pull apart the hubs and everything on these older Dana or 14 bolts, I was like, nope, not digging into that right now. So I've never really torn this truck apart, never really had the wheels off, never really had it on jack stands. So you can see we're on jack stands. Let me show you something. Back up into my doorway here. Truck looks like it's sitting good, man. That's a good height right there. That's probably a 3 to 4 inch lift, I'm guessing, right there. But the problem is, our tires are still touching the ground, and those jack stands are maxed out height-wise. Those are the big jack stands. So what we're gonna do is, now that we got them all under there, we're just gonna individually jack up each end of the axle, and we'll remove the wheel, and then jack it back down. The axles will be hanging then, at least, so I can get them out of there. But yeah, some taller jack stands would sure be nice. Those ones in the rear, I bought those specially for trucks. They were like the tallest ones I could buy, but apparently not tall enough. And the wheels are off. Check it out. Never had this truck in this condition, so this is the last time you'll see it with these old axles and all this old junk under it. So give you a Closer look of what we got going on. This is the old Dana 44, which is not correct for this truck because it's a 1-ton. But one thing I find interesting is, so I had another set of axles that I pulled out of a 74 Chevy, 3/4 ton. Those were flat top knuckles on both sides. These are not flat top knuckles, so I find that really interesting. So I don't know what this axle came out of, or if that's 74. I don't know. I don't know if there's a year breakdown for the flat tops or not, but this is definitely not the most desirable 44. But it is, you know, the big hub because it's a 8 lug, so it's got the, I don't know what, they put bigger bearings in there and whatnot than the half tons. But yep, it is ready to be torn apart. These rear springs are so heavy duty. Where's my finger at? There it is. So heavy duty that when I jacked up the truck from the axle, so the tires come off the ground, the bed moved immediately. So these springs with no weight on, with just the weight of the truck on them, they don't compress at all. So that'll be nice to get rid of those things. Look at those things. Those things are so fat. But that's what we're working with. So this will be the last time we see it in this dirty old state. Before these axles come out, so let's give you a little closer look. The last thing you saw me take out was this front drive shaft. This thing is in pretty bad shape. I was trying to show the bearing caps are so, they were completely rusty, dried out, and so I don't plan on reusing these drive shafts. I already planned on having to get custom ones made a little bit longer, maybe a little stronger. Maybe I can refurbish these and keep these just as spares if I need to, or at least the front one. We'll see. The rear I might end up having to get rid of the slip yoke, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, they're pretty nasty little units. But we got everything out. Shocks are off, and the sway bar's off, and the steering's disconnected on the other side. So all we got to do now is undo the U-bolts on the axle and drop this whole front axle out. And those brakes are, they're not attached to the axle, so those will stay there for now. Here's the first look of a Dana 44 next to a Dana 60. You can see the hubs are significantly bigger. The Dana 60 is actually upside down right now, so it's not an exact match or whatever you want to call it, but you can see like these end pieces, the C's. I call them C's because they're a big C shape on the end. You can see how small that one is. And then this one is just huge. So the ends are a lot bigger. I believe the tubes are a little bigger. And then obviously the differential itself is a lot bigger. I don't know if you can really tell in the picture or in the video, but in person, yeah, it's pretty significant. One thing I thought was interesting is these old shock mounts. This one's actually been welded before, and it's cracking again on both sides. So I don't know if someone modified that, or it probably just straight up broke, so they re-welded it back together. But that's kind of why we went with these nice aftermarket units. A lot thicker, so we don't have to worry about that ever again. But yeah, we got that thing out finally. And all that's left underneath is just our springs. We got to get those out, get those brakes disconnected. That steering box has to come out. That thing's pretty nasty, so yep, we'll have to keep stripping this down. And the hard part, the hardest thing is going to be replacing, remember I got those upgraded bushing deals. They go up here inside the frame. It's going to be really hard to get to because of the headers. This side has a little more room than the other side. The other side is super tight, so hopefully most of the work can be done from the outside. It is now the next day. So I left you off with the front axle got pulled out, ready to rock. I need a set of those rollers back, so what I'm going to have to do is actually take a set of the old wheels and tires. I'm just going to bolt them back up to the old axle so I can just roll it out of here and get it out of the shop. And then once we get that out of the way, get my rollers back, then we'll start on the back axle. And then yeah, after that we got to start taking springs off and stuff like that. But yep, let's get the big heavy stuff out of the way first. So I gotta admit, it's nice having these new electric tools for things. The old air tools are nice because they're lighter. This is really heavy, but to not have to drag an air hose around is actually really nice. A little more handy, I think. So first thing we gotta do on this rear end is get these shocks off. Everything is very difficult because it's extremely rusty. That's tightening. But you can see with the right tool, it comes right out. I like it. Speaking of the right tool. These shocks are holding the axle up, but we're about to find out. Yep. There. Not bad, huh? Top one, which it is a different size, of course. Alright. Like that. I got a lot. I think I called these Ranchos earlier. I don't think these are Ranchos. Must be a cheaper off-brand nitro-filled shock. That's that. One shock down. Get the rest off. Well, I was trying to nicely disconnect the brake lines. So these lights are blinding the camera here, so I can get it to zoom in a little. But we stripped out the nut. So, there we go, sorry. This is how we're gonna fix that. There. It's disconnected. Yo, this is kind of weird seeing the truck like this. Not gonna lie, no front axle, no back axle. Whew, them U-bolts were rusty. Those things are nasty. I got covered in rusty dusts from that. You can see the piles of junk that came out. That was just from U-bolts. The plates were just full of the stuff. So next, we gotta start working on getting these springs. I know how spring bolts can be, and they can be a real pain, so I'm gonna go eat, go cook something good, and then maybe later tonight I will come back out with a little liquid encouragement and work on this. This is the old axle. You can see where we had to cut the brake line off. I didn't want to destroy the truck end of the brake line, but since that nut stripped out, we're gonna have to rebuild that little section or replace all of it. I don't know yet. The axle end, we're gonna have to rebuild all these lines anyways, because the new axle doesn't come with them. These old ones, I don't know if I want to reuse them. Like, this one's not bad, but with the disc brake kit, I also have to cut these off and put another nut on the end of those for the rubber lines on the calipers. So we're gonna have to do a lot of work anyways. So lots of brake line work coming up. Got that on camera. This is a heavy leaf spring. That thing is so big. So I used the floor jack to lower it down because I knew it was going to be heavy, but Jesus, it fell off sideways there at the end. I want to see if I can lift this thing out of here by myself. That thing is just a massive solid chunk of steel. Let me get warmed up. I gotta get warmed up first. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Oh, jeez. Oh, it's like, nope, can't even do a deadlift with it. That thing is huge. Let me just blow my back out on camera. Oh, that's a huge beat. All right, I'm still out of breath and in disbelief about how heavy these springs are, so had to get the old healthometer out here and I want to measure these again. I want to weigh them, see how much they are. Let me zero this thing out a little bit. All right, let's see how much this thing's weigh. This is just ridiculous. Whew. It's quite a bit more than I thought. That's about 105 pounds each. That is ridiculous. Let me give you a close up. See, I ain't lying. 104. 105, depending on the angle. That's just stupid. It's a new day. Here we are again. Last night we got the springs out. That was awesome. Today I'm gonna pull the steering apart. This is kind of my last day off for the weekend, so I'm just gonna kind of take it easy, and then I gotta edit all this up tonight. So we'll do that. It's actually during the daytime right now. Normally I start doing this at night because I work night shift. So you can see the garage doors are lit up. It's actually daytime outside. It's different. Kind of odd, strange feeling. So it's a different type of weather today. We're finally getting into our first freeze for, I guess, this year. It's, what is this, October 22nd, 23rd? I don't know. But it's been pretty nice weather all summer and all through the fall. I don't know if we have falls here or not, but we are freezing now this weekend. So today it's actually kind of chilly and it's really windy and a storm blew in and we lost our blue sky. So it's a little unusual for Nevada, I think. At least from what I'm used to in my first 9 months out here. So yeah, check it out. Just kidding, it's blue sky. We did have all those clouds way in the distance blow through here earlier today and it was dark and gloomy, but I guess it cleared out. So it's probably what's gonna bring the freeze is the clear sky. So it's kind of nice. Chilly though, it's probably 45 degrees out here, I'm guessing. And of course, as soon as I start this video, the wind dies down and it looks like nothing. A little breezy, not too bad. Pretty clouds in the distance. There it is. It was blowing really hard earlier. Let Willow out for her weekend outside trip. I'm also curious how this garage is going to work out in the winter when things get really cold, because it does get here, I don't know, in the teens for, you know, I think like weeks straight here, so it gets chilly. Obviously I drained out my irrigation system so that doesn't freeze and blow, but the shop itself here, I'm kind of curious. It's going to be a lot better than my last place in Washington. That place was not sealed up at all. It was so wet and so cold in that place. It made it so hard to do anything during the winter, even during the summer when it's just everything get damp. It was just gross. But out here it's a lot drier. That's an upside. And second is I'm in a garage that's completely sealed off, which is really nice and should be insulated as far as I know. It better be. It's part of the house. The only section that we really share with the house though, like it would be just a little section, like half that wall where the door is over there. That's it, because this wall here goes into the like center courtyard area, and then behind us, this is the side door, so this is side yard. Obviously we got garage doors over here, so this house doesn't really share a whole lot of wall space with the, I'm sorry, this garage doesn't really share a whole lot of wall space with the rest of the house, so I don't know how much heat it's gonna pick up or how cold it's gonna get in here, but if anything, I can probably just leave the door to the inside house open, and that'll kind of help get some heat in here and whatnot. While I'm in here, at least. I'm not planning on heating this thing or anything. There's a good look of the steering shaft. I just pulled that out. This is what we're going to be replacing with the Jeep Cherokee replacement part. I think it just requires a slight modification to make the Jeep one fit, but these things are not a very good design. I've seen these ends pull out before on cars. I've seen, this is the infamous rag joint there. It's just got a rubber disc in there that kind of helps absorb all the vibrations, but when that breaks, everything goes to hell. So we're gonna get rid of this sloppy, dirty old technology here and put something a little more modern in there. Also wanted to show underneath, we are gonna pull this master out too, finally get rid of that nasty thing. The end bearing on the column has quite a bit of play. I'm gonna see if I can replace that without having to pull out the whole steering column and everything. If I have to pull the column, I'm not gonna bother, but I'll see if I can, if these ones are, if you replace just the end bearing out this side, if it is, cool, then I'll do that. But other than that, I'm not gonna bother with it. Poor dirty old motor, look how corroded this thing got. I just put these on, well, a couple years ago, but then it sat. So all this corrosion needs to get cleaned up. Can't wait to get this whole engine compartment cleaned back up and make it look good again. Timber! Well, that's exciting. That's the only way I could get that thing out here by myself. Get some light up in there. First look, make sure my frame's not cracked. I don't notice anything obvious. 1 tons are a little more stronger than the half tons, but we'll figure that out once we clean it all up. Here's our steering box. That thing just punched a hole right through that cardboard. I put about 5 layers of cardboard down there to kind of soften the blow, but that steering box is junk anyways, so I don't really care about it. Here's a better look at that unit. This thing is nasty. Look at that. This was like the one major leak this truck had. So it's good to finally get that out of there. We got the new one. This is the 4-wheel drive steering box, as you can tell by the clamp-on pitman arm. It just clamps on with that through bolt. The 2-wheel drive one we have has the threaded nut on the end, and it has more of a splined pitman arm, so it's a lot better to be able to reposition it where we need it. So for tonight, I am done disassembling. As you can see, this truck is a blank slate now. I do have to go through and remove like the rear spring mounts. I gotta replace the front spring mounts, all this other stuff now, so I gotta grind and cut rivets, but for this weekend, I'm done. I'm gonna clean up my mess and get all this crap taken care of and situated so that next weekend when I play again, I'll have a clean shop again. So, I will talk to you guys later.